Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Everyday English. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lisa. We're thrilled to have you join us today as we dive into using English in our daily lives. Whether you're at the grocery store, in a restaurant, or at work, we've got you covered with tips and phrases to help you communicate smoothly.
That's right, Lisa. English is everywhere, and mastering it can make a huge difference in your day-to-day interactions. So, let's get started with our first scenario, the grocery store. Lisa, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about grocery shopping in English?
For me, it's definitely knowing how to ask for help. Sometimes you can't find what you're looking for, and you need to ask an employee. A simple way to do this is by saying, "Excuse me, can you help me find the item?"
That's a great point. You can also use, "Do you know where the item is?" Another useful phrase is, "Which aisle is the item in?"
Absolutely. And what about when you get to the checkout? It's common to hear, "Did you find everything you were looking for today?" You can respond with, "Yes, thank you," or "No, I couldn't find item."
Good one. And if you need to use a coupon, you can say, "Can I use this coupon?" Or if you're paying with a specific method, "Can I pay with method?"
Right. Now, let's move on to a fun one. Eating out at a restaurant. Tom, what are some key phrases you think are essential when dining out?
Well, when you first arrive, you'll likely be greeted with, "How many people?" or "How many in your party?" You can simply respond with the number of people, like 2, please.
And once you're seated, the waiter might ask, "Can I get you something to drink?" Or, "Would you like to start with any appetizers?" It's helpful to know how to order, like, "I'll have a glass of water," or "Could we get the appetizer to start?"
Exactly. When it's time to order your main course, you can say, "I'll have the dish," or "Can I get the dish with a side of side?" And if you have dietary restrictions, it's useful to say, "I'm allergic to item," or "Do you have any vegetarian options?"
Great tips, Tom. And when it's time to pay, you might hear, "Will this be together or separate?" You can respond with "Together, please," or "Separate checks, please." If you're using a credit card, you can say, "Can I pay with a credit card?"
And don't forget to say "Thank you" and "Have a good day" when you're leaving. It's always nice to be polite.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about using English at work. This is a big one because effective communication is key in a professional setting. Tom, what are some common phrases used in the workplace?
One of the most common is, "Can we schedule a meeting?" or "Let's set up a meeting." It's also important to know how to make requests politely, like, "Could you send me the report?" or "Can you help me with this project?"
Yes. And when you're discussing tasks or deadlines, you might say, "When is this due?" or "What's the deadline for this project?" If you need clarification, "Can you explain this to me?" or "I'm not sure I understand. Can you elaborate?"
Good ones, Lisa. And giving feedback is crucial too. You can say, "I think you did a great job on this," or "I have a few suggestions for improvement." Constructive criticism is key to maintaining good relationships at work.
Absolutely. And if you're in a meeting and want to contribute, you can use phrases like, "I'd like to add something," or "Can I share my thoughts on this?"
Great advice. And if you need to excuse yourself, you can say, "Excuse me for a moment," or "I need to step out for a bit."
All these phrases are so helpful in making daily interactions smoother. Practicing them can build confidence and improve your English skills.
That's right, Lisa. And to all our listeners, don't be afraid to practice these phrases in real-life situations. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone makes mistakes, so don't be too hard on yourself. The important thing is to keep practicing and learning.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Everyday English. We hope you found these tips useful and feel more confident using English in your daily life.
Some questions and answers related to the topic of using English in everyday situations. Grocery store.
How do I ask for help finding an item in the grocery store?
You can say, "Excuse me, can you help me find the item?" Or, "Do you know where the item is?"
What should I say if I couldn't find everything I needed?
At the checkout, you can say, "No, I couldn't find item."
How do I ask if a store accepts a specific payment method?
You can ask, Do you accept credit card?
Restaurant.
How do I ask for the menu at a restaurant?
You can say, could I see the menu, please?
How do I order a drink?
You can say, I'll have a glass of water. Or, could I get a cup of coffee, please?
How do I request a vegetarian option?
You can ask, do you have any vegetarian options?
How do I ask for the bill check?
You can say, can I get the bill, please? Or, could I have the check, please?
Workplace.
How do I request a meeting with a colleague?
You can say, can we schedule a meeting? Or, let's set up a meeting.
How do I ask for help with a task?
You can ask, could you help me with this project? Or, can you assist me with this task?
How do I give positive feedback to a colleague?
You can say, I think you did a great job on this. Or, your work on this project was excellent.
Doctor's visit.
How do I describe my symptoms to a doctor?
You can say, I have a headache. Or, I've been feeling dizzy.
How do I ask about the duration of symptoms?
You can say, I've been feeling this way for 2 days. Or, this started last week.
How do I ask for a prescription?
You can ask, can you prescribe something for this? Or, is there any over-the-counter medication I can take?
Public transportation.
How do I ask for directions at a bus stop or train station?
You can ask, which bus goes to destination? Or, what time does the next train to destination leave?
How do I tell a taxi driver where to go?
You can say, can you take me to address? Or, I'd like to go to location.
Shopping for clothes.
How do I ask if an item is available in a different size?
You can ask, do you have this in a size medium?
How do I ask to try on clothes?
You can say, can I try this on? Or, where are the fitting rooms?
How do I ask about payment options?
You can ask, do you accept credit cards?
Online interactions.
How do I start an email politely?
You can start with, Dear Sam, or Hello Sam.
How do I request something in an email?
You can say, could you please send me the report? Or, I would appreciate it if you could help me with this.
How do I end an email politely?
You can end with, thank you for your time, or looking forward to your response.
Social events.
How do I introduce myself at a social event?
You can say, hi, I'm your name. Nice to meet you.
How do I make small talk at a party?
You can ask, how do you know the host? Or, what do you do for a living?
How do I compliment someone at a social event?
You can say, I love your dress, or you did a great job organizing this event.
Visiting a bank.
How do I explain why I'm visiting a bank?
You can say, I'd like to open an account, or I'm here to make a deposit.
How do I ask for assistance with a transaction?
You can ask, can someone help me with this transaction? Or, where is the customer service desk?
How do I ask about account details?
You can ask, I'd like to check my balance, or I need to transfer money to another account.
Traveling and hotels.
How do I check in for a flight at the airport?
You can say, I'd like to check in for my flight to destination.
How do I ask for something on a plane?
You can ask, can I have a blanket? Or could I get some water?
How do I check in at a hotel?
You can say, I have a reservation under your name.
How do I request a wake-up call at a hotel?
You can say, can I get a wake-up call at 7 a.m.?
Emergencies.
How do I call for emergency services?
You can say, I need help, there's been an accident, or I need an ambulance.
How do I ask for help from someone nearby?
You can ask, can you help me? Or is there a doctor here?
How do I report a lost item?
You can say, I've lost my item. Can you help me find it?
Post office.
How do I ask to send a package?
You can say, I need to send this package.
How do I ask about mailing costs?
You can ask, how much does it cost to mail this letter?
How do I buy stamps?
You can say, I'd like to buy some stamps.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Everyday English. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lisa. Today, we're continuing our conversation about using English in everyday situations. We covered grocery stores, restaurants, and workplaces in our last episode. Let's dive deeper and explore more scenarios where you might need some handy English phrases.
Great idea, Lisa. Let's start with a common situation many people face: going to the doctor. It's essential to be able to describe your symptoms accurately. For instance, you can say, I have a headache, or I've been feeling dizzy.
Absolutely. And if you need to explain how long you've had the symptoms, you can say, I've been feeling this way for 2 days, or this started last week. If the doctor asks about your medical history, you can say, I have a history of allergies, or I'm currently taking medication for high blood pressure.
Another useful phrase is, I'm experiencing pain in my body part. And if you need a prescription, you can ask, can you prescribe something for this? Or, is there any over-the-counter medication I can take?
And don't forget to ask questions if you're unsure about anything. You can say, can you explain what this means? Or, are there any side effects to this medication?
Great points, Lisa. Now, let's switch gears and talk about another everyday scenario, using public transportation. Whether you're taking a bus, train, or taxi, there are some key phrases that can help you navigate the system smoothly.
When you're at the bus stop or train station, you might need to ask for directions. You can say, which bus goes to destination? Or, what time does the next train to destination leave?
If you're in a taxi, it's useful to know how to tell the driver where you're going. You can say, can you take me to address? Or, I'd like to go to location. And if you want to know how much it will cost, you can ask, how much will it be to get to destination?
Yes. And if you're using a ride-sharing service like Uber or Lyft, you might need to confirm your ride. You can say, I'm your passenger, Lisa, or is this ride for Tom?
Let's move on to another common scenario, shopping for clothes. This can be a lot of fun, but it's also important to know how to ask for help or specific items.
Definitely. When you're looking for a specific size or color, you can say, do you have this in a size medium? Or is this available in blue? If you're unsure about the fit, you can ask, can I try this on? Or where are the fitting rooms?
And if you need assistance with finding something, you can say, I'm looking for a pair of jeans, or do you have any dresses on sale? When you're ready to pay, you might ask, do you accept credit cards? Or can I get a receipt?
Those are all great phrases. Now, let's talk about a scenario that's becoming increasingly common, online interactions. Whether it's through emails, social media, or video calls, knowing how to communicate effectively online is essential.
Absolutely. When writing emails, it's important to start with a polite greeting like, dear name or hello name. If you're making a request, you can say, could you please send me the report? Or, I would appreciate it if you could help me with this.
And don't forget to end your emails politely as well. You can use phrases like, thank you for your time, or looking forward to your response. If you're on a video call, it's helpful to know how to introduce yourself and others. You can say, hi, I'm Tom, or I'd like to introduce you to Lisa.
And when you're participating in a discussion, you can use phrases like, I agree with that point, or I'd like to add something. It's also important to know how to handle technical issues. You can say, can you hear me? Or, I think there's a problem with my connection.
Great advice, Tom. Now, let's talk about another everyday scenario, attending social events. Whether it's a party, a wedding, or a casual get-together, knowing how to socialize in English can help you feel more comfortable and confident.
For sure. When you arrive at an event, it's common to greet people with, hi, how are you? Or nice to see you. If you're meeting someone new, you can say, hi, I'm Tom, nice to meet you.
And when you're making small talk, it's useful to have some general questions ready. You can ask, how do you know the host? Or what do you do for a living? If you want to compliment someone, you can say, I love your dress. Or you did a great job organizing this event.
And when it's time to leave, you can say, it was great seeing you, or thanks for having me. Being polite and friendly goes a long way in making a good impression.
Definitely. One last scenario I think we should cover is visiting a bank. This can be a bit intimidating if you're not familiar with the terminology, but knowing some key phrases can help.
When you first arrive, you might need to explain why you're there. You can say, I'd like to open an account, or I'm here to make a deposit. If you need assistance, you can ask, can someone help me with this transaction? Or, where is the customer service desk?
If you're discussing your account, you can say, I'd like to check my balance, or I need to transfer money to another account. And if you have any questions about fees or services, you can ask, are there any fees for this account? Or what are the interest rates for savings accounts?
Those are all excellent tips, Lisa. I hope our listeners find these phrases helpful in their daily lives.
Me too, Tom. And remember, everyone, practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases, the more confident you'll become.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Everyday English. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lisa. Today, we're continuing our deep dive into practical English phrases and scenarios that you encounter in your daily life. We've covered quite a bit so far, but there's still more to explore. Tom, how about we talk about traveling and staying in hotels?
Great idea, Lisa. Traveling can be a lot of fun, but it can also be stressful if you're not confident with the language. Let's start with the airport. When you arrive, you'll need to check in. You can say, "I'd like to check in for my flight to destination."
And if you have luggage, you might need to ask, "Where's the baggage drop-off?" Or, "Can I check this bag?" If you're unsure about where to go next, you can ask, "Where's the security checkpoint?" Or, "Which gate is my flight departing from?"
Once you're on the plane, it's useful to know how to ask for things. For example, "Can I have a blanket?" or "Could I get some water?" If you need to use the restroom, you can say, "Excuse me, where's the restroom?"
Exactly. And when you arrive at your destination and head to your hotel, you'll need to check in there as well. You can say, "I have a reservation under your name." If you need help with your bags, you can ask, "Can someone help me with my luggage?"
If you have any specific requests, like needing a wake-up call or extra towels, you can say, "Can I get a wake-up call at 7 a.m.?" Or, "Could we have some extra towels in our room?" And if you need information about the hotel amenities, you can ask, "Is there a gym here?" Or, "What time is breakfast served?"
Those are all very useful. Let's talk about another common scenario, dealing with emergencies. This is something we all hope to avoid, but it's important to know what to say if something goes wrong.
Absolutely. If you need to call emergency services, you can say, "I need help, there's been an accident," or "I need an ambulance." It's also useful to know how to describe the situation, like, "Someone is hurt," or "There's a fire."